This is the final question on my evaluation. Question 7. Looking at my preliminary task, what have I learned from there to now? I feel that I've learned a lot from the preliminary task to now. After studying magazines and properly focusing on a particular genre, I know how to better tackle the task. For instance, using Quark Express 7.0 and Adobe Photoshop Elements 5.0 to their full potential it makes so much difference in properly laying out a page, being able to make sure everything is exact and precise, and making things look good rather than just attempting. It allows for you to experiment more and create a magazine that is more original and eye-catching, rather than finding the programs very limiting because of your lack of knowledge. I understand a lot more about the generic conventions of magazines, and I do not feel bound to them, but able to experiment with them and make it slightly unorthodox and interesting to an audience who is reading them. However, just basic skills have been improved, such as knowing what colour scheme is likely to work, and it's such an important skill, because the colour scheme that I chose in my preliminary task was awful. It was god awful. It did not fit the picture. It did not fit the style. It was horrible. For instance, the grey, dull background was just so different from the house style. It just didn't match at all and it didn't work. Whereas by looking at albums, what I earn in the particular genre that I'm writing for, I found a colour scheme that I think works quite effectively for the magazine. Other skills, like more advanced skills, like using consumer feedback to change and alter your magazine to what they want, has been another key development point. Also, using copying and subtly changing ideas from other magazines is a very powerful tool in creating something that competes with them to some degree and allows you to try and improve on what they have already done. The use of your own photography is also a major asset in the path from preliminary to the main task, because it allows you to structure your work around the pictures and make modifications to your flat plan and help develop a better and more unique hairstyle to match. It also lets you communicate to your audience that much better than when you simply go out for the first time in your preliminary task and take a few pictures for the just riding on good luck. For instance, classic rock's Pink Floyd issue cover was based solely on the main article, so it was a front cover without any cover lines except the head one. This was something I wanted to emulate, but I found it was going to look too barren. So I had to focus on other issues of Metal Hammer and Classic Rock to try and find other ways of presenting my front cover. So I used smaller cover lines and boxes to help categorise everything that worked well on my front cover. Whereas on my prelim task, everything just seemed scattered around and without any kind of real organisation. It looked like someone just slapped it together at the last moment. Also another key point is just spending so much more time in the planning process, experimenting, finding something unique about your magazine that you can build up a good house style. It's just so helpful, rather than just slapping together something on the spot for the preliminary task. Furthermore, simply by spending a lot of more time developing the music magazine, in comparison to the prelim task, allowed for more experimentation via mastheads and using programs such as Adobe Photoshop to give a more professional polish, rather than you just using an unusual font or colour. You make a masthead that is completely unique by properly doing things and utilising all the special effects available. I'm able to make a much more professional looking magazine, which makes a massive leap from the prelim task to now. Furthermore, having just become more acquainted with the program Quark Express has helped, because everything is on the same angle or line as another, adding to the more professional look. In my case, when I reflect on my prelim task, it's obvious that the cover lines are on dodgy angles and everything's at different heights, it just looks sloppy. Furthermore, realising generic conventions such as properly using anchorage, bar, it makes that much different. It makes it look that much better. I don't think my music magazine is the best it could be. It could be so much better. But the leap from the prelim task to now, I think, is colossal. I think the main step up from the preliminary task to the music magazine is being able to fully utilise the technology that is given to you. That is the key for me. And being able to look thoroughly at other magazines to find styles and ideas to emulate and copy. And I think that is what has given me the biggest learning curve, by doing those what seem simple things, and it's made all the difference.
Ha 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 ha!